Hare Krishna, Gaur Sundar Nanda Jagapate, Guru Shita Bhikti Kanta Radha Kanta Namokite, Bhakta Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishnuvana Santavina, Pranamami Hare Priya.
Shri Guru Shri Jata Shri Guru Vaishnava Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sagara Shri Vishakharanitam Vishnu Pada
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. 257. 257. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Krishna Jadavaya Namaha Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Govindara Sri Madhusudara Gopal Govindara Sri Madhusudara Gopal Govindara Sri Madhusudara Gopal Govindara Sri Madhusudara Giri Gopina Madana Moha Giri Hari Gopina Madana Moha Giri Hari Gopina Madana Moha Giri Hari Gopina Madana Moha Hari Hari Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Hare Krishna Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnavrind ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Naam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम श्री कहो श्री कृष्ण जी का प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय गंगा देवी जमुना देवी तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल the assembled devotee. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotee. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotee. Hare Krishna. All glory to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Hare Hare Bo. Hare Hare Bo. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Praladanayine. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shilasankaraye. Ito nishinga parato nishinga. Ito nishinga parato nishinga. Yato yato yamitato nishinga. Yato yamitato nishinga. Ahe nishinga rigaye nishinga. Rashingamadim Sharanam Prapade. Risingamadim Sharanam Prapade. Samakara Kamala Varega Kama Buddha Shinga. Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tato Breka Keshavadreka Narahare Yoga Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Savakana Kamala Bare Nakam Adbhuta Sringa Kalila Hiranya Kashipu Tanubhina Kesavadita Radhavadita Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadrita Hare Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadrita Hare Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nashinga Jaya Nashinga Nashinga Jaya Nashinga Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Bhakta Prahlad Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. Welcome, everyone. Those that are you joining us on Zoom as well as on YouTube. Thank you for coming and attending our virtual Sunday Feast program. I forget how many weeks we are into the COVID period now, but we started when it was getting cold, and now when it was still cold, and now we're still here doing a virtual program, and it's starting to get cold again. So Thank you for attending with us this evening. We have with us tonight His Grace Haryashra Prabhu. He'll be speaking to us on our Bhagavad Gita. We'll be continuing our series with Arjuna's question to Krishna about the qualities of a transcendentalist. Before we get there, I want to give everybody a quick darshan of the deities. We did an up-close darshan when we first opened the doors at 4 o'clock. Those of you who joined late, we will show it to you right now. His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki.
Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tanamani Namaste Saraswati Devi. Or Radha Vicharna and never say such a Radha Pashtati Distarni.
Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki.
Jai.
Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki.
Jai. Nice garlands. Nice outfit.
So every Sunday they get, this is the little extra special attention every Sunday. Shri Shri, most beautiful Lordship, Shri Shri Radha Sharat Bihari ki.
Jai. Amazing. Whew. Please bless me, Krishna.
So those that want to come and take darshan after class, darshan will be open starting at 5:45 to 7:15 tonight. I want to quickly introduce Haryashra Prabhu. Haryashra Prabhu is a disciple of His Holiness Satsrup Maharaj. He was initiated in the late 70s. He was a book distributor and a Sankirtan devotee. He's always served here in Philadelphia. In the 80s and 90s and 2000s, he ran Govinda's restaurant. Once it was further down in his first form, it was down further on South Street, and then later it broadened south. He's distributed prasadam for many decades, made so many connections, touched so many hearts. He's a student of the Bhagavad Gita, a teacher of the Bhagavad Gita, and he also teaches on Saturdays in the morning about the holy name. We're happy to have him with us. Recently, he took on a position to assist us here at ISKCON of Philadelphia to help us direct the as community director of outreach. So Haryashra Prabhu, we're extremely happy to have you with us. We're going to hand it over to you. The verse is going to go up on the board in just a second. And we'll check in with you when your class is done. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So I'll chant Radha Madhava. Hare Krishna Prabhujis. It's nice to be here. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chanavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Rajajana Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janava Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 57. This chapter's summary of the Gita. So, Yasava, yes.
We're getting a little bit of static from your end.
Well,
I don't know. Do you have two devices going on?
Vishnu, is your device on? Nope. That's why I tried to call early. My device is not on. Only this. Is it a lot of static still in there?
Yes. I just want to take a second to get it right so it doesn't interrupt the class once we start talking.
So let me do something different.
It's a crackling. It might even be a loose connection. Okay, devotees, just hang in there 1 second while we get this right. Sometimes this happens. When we're logging in, anytime we're going virtual, there's always the chance of us going. Losing connection. Haryashra Prabhu, can you hear us? Haryashra Prabhu? Okay. Looks like he's making the adjustment. Yeah. We can't hear you. One opportunity is if you want to go to your phone. Don't worry, devotees. Just if you want, you can chant Hare Krishna until he's on. That'll just take a second. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
I
Hare.
can hear you. Trona, can you hear me? I hear you perfectly.
Yes, we can hear you. I just heard a little crackle though.
Okay, but I've been hearing you perfectly.
Now I can hear you. Now that's clear.
Okay, now let me get back my screen. I can see you. Well, no, I see a devotee. I'm just trying to decide if I should get rid of my screen altogether because I have you on my phone.
I would say whatever you're doing right now, just keep it. Because we can hear you. I don't think I can see you, but that's...
Well, you will.
That's only the loss on our end. But we can hear you. And that's probably the most important.
Well, let's see what happens. Okay, now I can see you. I just don't cut on the sound from me on that old side. Now everything's fine. Can we go on?
Let's proceed.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All right. Yajaz, wrong one.
257.
I got it. Yasavatra Nabi Snehas Tata Prapya Subhashubham Nabinant Danti Nadvisti Tasha Prajna Pratistita Yasavatran Nabi Snehas Tata Prapya Subhashubham Nabinant Dati Nadvisti Tasha Prajna Pratistita. Translation: in the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. Purport by His Divine Loving Grace Srila Prabhupada. There's always some upheaval in the material world, which may be good or evil. One who is not agitated by such material upheavals, who is unaffected by good and evil, is to be understood to be fixed in Krishna consciousness. As long as one is in the material world, there's always the possibility of good and evil, because this world is full of duality. But one who is fixed in Krishna consciousness is not affected by good and evil, because he is simply concerned with Krishna, who is all good, absolute. Such consciousness in Krishna situates one in a perfect transcendental position called, technically, samadhi. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Satsarupa Das Goswami Tanamane Satsarupa Avidan Vande Vinitam Sadabhushnam Bhakti Grantananai Punyam Bhakti Vedanta Shikshitam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tanamane Namaste Swasvati Devi Gauravani Bacharne Nirvashesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarne. The verse again. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. So, we're continuing with the conversation. Bhagavad Gita to me is a wonderful conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. And there's so much help along the way with Srila Prabhupada. And I also still help from Borijan Prabhu and Vishwanath Chakravarti and Sridhar Swami, like things of that nature. But here I want to go back and continue the conversation. The last time I was here, I spoke in this same chapter, a little off from this section. And Krishna told Arjuna, he told him, when your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. I want to let you keep the conversation going. So, some things I'm skipping. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak, and what is his language? How does he sit, and how does he walk? And the last two verses I missed because I didn't know that Kaivalya Prabhu and Vishnu Gadar Prabhu had given the classes. I was my sisters, and I missed them. And I like hearing from both of them. They did those verses. And the verse 56, Borijan Prabhu connects 56 and 57 together. And Krishna answered one of Arjuna's questions. So last week, the Supreme Personality of God had said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties for desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. And so the symptom that you hear today is one who is not disturbed. Uh, Today you hear that in the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. So, what's interesting to me?
Haryashra Prabhu, real quick, we're starting to get a little bit more crackling. I don't know if you changed anything from your end.
Nope.
No. Okay.
I
think
afraid.
it's tolerable. I mean, I think we can do it. I just want to know if you maybe you tried to plug something in and changed it.
Nope.
I didn't know. Okay.
But I like it that you're telling me, Drona, because yeah, let me know if it's not clear, it's not encouraging.
Haryashva Prabhu, try and not move your mic at all. Don't touch it, or I think every time the mic moves, that's when the crackle is happening.
Okay. Yeah. How is it now? Is the sound okay?
Perfect.
So I'm not touching anything.
Don't touch anything.
So in this conversation, Arjuna, he's asking about a person who's, in transcendental consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada, in this purport, he says something very, very interesting to me. Prabhupada says twice. He said, one who is not agitated by such material upheavals, who is unaffected by good and evil, is to be understood to be fixed in Krishna consciousness. And then towards the end, Srila Prabhupada says, when he's saying that, for one who is fixed in Krishna consciousness is not affected by good and evil because he is simply concerned with Krishna, who is all good, absolute. Such consciousness in Krishna situates one in perfect transcendental position called technically samadhi. So the interesting point for me is that this samadhi, we hear so much of samadhi, but Srila Prabhupada equates with fixed Krishna consciousness as samadhi, as absorption in Krishna. And so the point for me is to move from what we call our regular life to being completely absorbed and conscious, aware, acting, for Krishna, thinking of Krishna 24/7. That is quite a feat, for us to obtain. And so I always think of myself, because this is a science of self-realization. It's not really being selfish as in the material sense, but we have to really take care of the self. Unless we give ourselves the air when that thing falls in the airplane, unless we put the air mask over our face, we can't help anyone. So unless we try to apply Krishna consciousness to our own lives, to our own situation, then how can we possibly help others? So I think like that. I think of applying Krishna consciousness for myself and for others. And so the main point is good and evil. Um, it's there everywhere. That's what we get in the material world. And how do we be not agitated by good and evil? How does that happen? Um, so the first thing I like to look at is our natural state of existence, where we're trained up from childhood to study, to learn specific things, and to educate ourselves in such a way that we can go out and get a certain type of job, to be able to have a certificate, knock on the door and say, hey, I have a certain qualification. Will you hire me? And from that, then we're able to go on and get a house, a car, a wife, or a husband. And in modern society, that can mean a girlfriend or a boyfriend, whatever. But ultimately, we begin our life of trying to enjoy. But this enjoyment that we're embarking upon is based on sense gratification. We're trying to gratify the senses. And we're pretty much trained up in such a way as to enjoy our senses. And the whole material world becomes our playground. It becomes an opportunity. The different concoctions, be it politics or uh, socialization, whatever aspect of life we look at, the lens that we're looking through, we're looking at it for our own personal enjoyment. And then we become benevolent. We want to enjoy with our family and close friends. But we're the center of everything. So to change that dynamic becomes very difficult. Then I throw in the factor that although we're working like this, with this consciousness, with this mentality, actually, uh, Krishna says that the living entity does nothing, that actually we're being pushed around by the different modes of material nature. Um, and these modes within themselves are always fighting for supremacy. Plus, there's these kleshas, adiyatmaka, adidaivik, and adibodhik, which are naturally, there's suffering which is going to come from our own body and mind, which is going to come from natural, occurrences, hurricanes, droughts, floods, whatever. And there's the disturbances which are going to come from other living entities. So we're situated in a place, and it's Kali Yuga. I mean, we're in an age where the principles of religiosity have been stripped, they've been cut off. And truthfulness is the last aspect, the last leg on which is standing. And as you know from just being aware in modern society, they're lying like anything today. In politics, they used to have a thing called the spin room. And in the spin room, you could take a truth and you could spin it to your liking from your particular angle of vision. Uh, and that was called spinning. I thought it was lying from the very beginning, but spinning. But somehow in politics, that came from out of the spin room and it spun into the general populace, into the society, where you find that people are talking about alternative truths and alternative facts. Facts are facts. The truth is the truth. But alternative truths is something which has been concocted. So this is also the nature of the mind. The mind has got so many combinations, so many concoctions. And yet and still, these things are going on. Plus our society. When I'm a young boy, we are so conscious of God. It America was a Christian society. So your family went to church on Sunday, but during the week you practiced those things that you heard on Sunday. And on Saturday you got together with other members of the spiritual society, and the families would have an interchange and things of that nature to keep it alive. But as Kali Yuga progresses, the idea of a supreme lord is not so popular. People very boldly say they are atheists, that they don't believe in God. And with us being trained up as the fruitive worker, this is called the karmic, as a sense gratifier. And we're not ashamed of trying to gratify our senses. Therefore, self realization and sense gratification go nil together. So, how to change our consciousness from what I've just described to what Arjuna and Krishna are speaking about? It seems like such a Herculean task. It seems almost impossible. However, in the Bhagavad Gita, there's so many nice ways to understand our real position. So often people tell me, yeah, Hari, I know you're saying a lot of nice things to me, but I got to deal with the real world. I have a family, you know, I have to support my family. I have to keep myself moving. I have to deal with the real world. But just for one moment, I would like to look earlier. Let's think back earlier to this second chapter. Um, before, when Arjuna, after Arjuna became so perplexed about fighting, killing his family members and friends, and thinking that he was incurring sin. And Krishna said, wait a minute. He says, you know, these warriors here, he says, these warriors have already been, he said, never, he says, the soul is unborn, undying, primeval, not slain when the body is slain. He says, so just do your duty. He's telling Arjuna. Later in the Bhagavad Gita, uh, Krishna is telling Arjuna, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. He gave an elaborate explanation of the self and what we are and what we're not. And the crux of it is that we're not this body, we're spirit soul. How many of us believe that? Is it true? Is it true that we're not these bodies? And if we're not these bodies and we're the life force within, then our whole equation, our whole lifestyle is really geared towards destruction, because our equation, it's like having an algebraic equation and the equivalents are wrong. It's so we're working in such a way, we're living in such a way that we are our bodies, and both gross and subtle, we are our bodies. We are our mind, our intelligence, and false conception of self. Pretty much, I say we live like that. Why? Because we dress it up. We work and we try to go out. We try for socialization. We're trying to find happiness, although distress is always coming. We try to do benevolent work, yet and still we find that dissatisfaction is also at our front door. So there's so many things which are happening. Our likes and dislikes, so many things are based on the Bali conception of life. What to speak about the climate right now in America. In America, there's such a climate of dissatisfaction, of unrest, black, white, you know, American, Chinese, Russian, such an such a climate. What does this have to do with self-realization? What does this have to do with the reality of who we are? So the misidentification which is taking place, if we believe we're not our bodies, and if that we're spirit soul, but if we believe further, Jivas Rupahaya Krishnari Nityadas, that we're eternal servants of Krishna, what is it going to take for us to change the trajectory of our life? And how will we go about that? So that's the first thing. According to Rupa Goswami, all he's asking is that we bring a little faith to the table. I'm glad because with the way things are stacked against us, it doesn't look so good. But he asks that we bring just a little faith, a Dal Shraddha. And along with that faith, the next step is Sadhu Sangha, which is extremely powerful. By getting the association of saintly persons, then the possibility of our lives can change. Why? Because the saintly persons, they're carrying Krishna within their hearts. And not just saying it because a verse says that. No, I'm saying it because when you think about how you first come to Krishna consciousness, you didn't meet Srila Prabhupada first. You don't meet your spiritual master, your Diksha or Shiksha. The first thing is you meet just a devotee who's out on Sankirtan, or devotees at the temple welcoming you, a devotee who served you prasadam. And that devotee inspires you. When you see the devotees in Kirtan in the beginning, when we don't know anything, when we are just here searching or we accidentally bump into it, every devotee is so special. And it is true. And so when we meet that devotee is constantly trying to give us Krishna. Take some prasadam, Prabhu. Did you get a book? Have you chanted? Do you know how to use your beads? Do you know the mantra? The devotees are always trying to give us Krishna because I'm a crazy person. So they're always trying to give us Krishna because the spiritual master has asked us. We're assisting the spiritual master. Plus, Krishna explains that there's nothing more dear to him than the devotees, nor will there ever be. So you get to see why devotees are so special, because they're carrying Krishna. And they have a lifestyle which is conducive for Krishna consciousness developing. If you've never lived in the ashram and you live on the outside, then how can you see what it's like to change your lifestyle? In other words, unless there are sleepovers, retreats that you stay at a temple, how do you understand that we get up and we shower early in the morning and we come to Mangala Artik? It's the auspicious Artik. It's the earliest one. And at that Artik, it used to be 4:15. We're dancing, we're chanting, we're as enthusiastic as anything. We're singing prayers in glorification of the spiritual master. We're worshiping the deity. And we've come together in association. And so after that, you worship Tulsi, and you take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Every day there's class on Srimad Bhagavatam. And the Bhagavatam is amazing because it's the verse says Nagama Kalpataro Galitam Palam Shuka Mukha Amrita Nectar Trava Samyuktam semi solid and easily swallowable like ice cream. Pibata do relish the Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Bhagavatam, when Krishna left this world for his own abode, the question was asked, where will we find shelter now that Krishna has returned to his own abode? And so the answer for the sages was that the shelter will be found in the spotless Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna for his own abode. So the Bhagavatam begins, when we hear the Bhagavatam, we hear narrations of Krishna and his pastimes, the things that Krishna does, things that his devotees do. But because this literature, because it's transcendental, it has nothing to do with this material world, then we're transported to another place. And as we regularly hear Bhagavatam, as explained in the Bhagavatam, the problem is within our heart. There's these hard knots. I told you about the influences of passion and ignorance. They're tied very tightly in our heart. So the attendance in Bhagavatam, it loosens the knot in the heart and enables us to hear what to speak of. It's filled with nectar. Shushu Sho Shredadanasha Vasudeva Kata Ruchi. It says, by serving the lotus feet of the Mahatmas, the great souls, a great service is done. And from this service, one gains an affinity for hearing the message of Vasudeva. So we start appreciating hearing the message of Krishna by learning to not envy, but worship the devotees. This word worship sounds heavy for some people, but the devotees are worshipable. They don't want your worship, but they carry Krishna. And Krishna gives a formula to Arjuna for understanding the truth. So anyway, but so you see, there's a whole culture. And then you take prasadam. Prasadam is just, it's offered to Krishna. It's for Krishna. It's not Krishna, I'm going to put this in front of you. Would you please take it so I can take prasadam? No, we cook, clean, worship, dress. We do it all for Krishna. Everything is done for Krishna. And then we go out or we stay back and we do service for Krishna. So this idea of having a job, if I have a job, if I make money, if I have a family, my obligation is to educate my family in the science of Krishna consciousness, to teach my children to become surrendered to the process of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, how can we be saved from the onslaught of bondage to lust? How can they be saved from the bombardment of the passion and ignorance, or ignorance and passion? How can they be saved from the influence of Kali Yuga? So you see, good and evil, relative. According to one person, this is good. Another person, this is bad. Where does the standard? Where's the religious understanding? So these things happen. But for a person who's Krishna conscious, he stays in the middle. Even me, I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. But I've learned from getting excited and feeling rejected, going up and down, it's not worth it. Just stay in the middle. I can't control it anyway. Remember, stay in the light. You're not the doer. The modes alone are working. There's light and there's dark. And this Maya that I'm talking about, the Maya is very exciting because Maya is Maha Maya or she's Yoga Maya. You know, she's she's bringing you closer or she's covering you over. It's still Krishna's energy. Therefore, we want to be able to take advantage of what's being offered. We want a methodology which enable us to change the projection of our life. And therefore, we take to Krishna consciousness. If we take to Krishna consciousness like a fad or just a religious ceremony, then pretty much that's what we get. But if we take to Krishna consciousness, following the path delegated by Rupa Goswami, then we will attain the desired goal. Srila Prabhupada came and gave us so many things, but the main thing he gave us was Krishna. He gave us Krishna. So many different ways he gave us Krishna. But I want to give you something from that verse that I told you when I was here weeks ago. When Krishna told Arjuna, remember, we're staying in the conversation. When he told Arjuna that when your intelligence is passed out of the forest of delusion, you'll become indifferent to all you've heard and all is to be heard. And then a great soul, a saint by the name of Madhavinda Puri, his prayer, all my prayers 3 times a day, glories to you. All glories to you. O bathing, I offer my basins unto you. O demigods, O forefathers, please excuse me for my inability to offer my respects. Now, wherever I sit, I can remember the great descendant of the Yadu dynasty, Krishna, the enemy of Kamsa, and thereby I can free myself from all sinful bondage. I think this is sufficient for me. So forget everything else. He says, wherever I sit, I can remember Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, the killer of Kamsa, the butter thief, Krishna, climbing, stealing the butter, passing it down to the monkeys, Krishna, running around, stealing the garments from the young gopis, Krishna, out in the dead of night, meeting the gopis, and then leaving because he feel their pride, just to let them, feel the separation from him. I did it again. So this is Krishna, but I want to read something else from you. It's so hard for me. Okay, I'm back now. So one verse I used to love was in Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, it's the very first sloka of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadyasha Yatonya Vayad Iteratas Chartes Vabigat Surat Tene Brahmaridaya Adikavaye Maryanti Yatsoya Tejo Varim Ridam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mishra Damna Svena Sada Nirrasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dimahi. It says, O my Lord, Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. I meditate upon Lord Sri Krishna because he is the absolute truth, the primeval cause of all causes, of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes, temporarily manifested by the reactions of the 3 modes of nature, appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. So that's Krishna. Know that all wonderful, beautiful, glorious things spring from but a spark of my splendor. He told Arjuna, what's the use of this detailed information? You know, there's no true spirit, there's no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Krishna. Krishna is what we really want. We want to be absorbed in thought of Krishna. And when we do that, that absorption is another gift. There's a verse that says, it speaks about the age of Kali. Prayenalpa Yusta Shabda Kalavashman Yugate. No, that's the wrong one. I can't hear it. Anyway, it says, it talks about, tell you, if you get old, don't get like me. Kalea Doshan de Rajan, Astieko Mahagunan, Kirtana Devi Krishnasha, Mukta Sangha Parambrajet. It speaks of the age of Kali, bad age, and we're dead in it. And it's a bad age, and it's full of faults. But there's one good thing about this age of Kali, that in the age of Kali, if one simply chants the Hare Krishna Maha mantra, he can attain liberation. In the age of Kali, the Sankirtan movement is alive and kicking. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction. You want a benediction? This is the prime benediction for humanity at large. Why? Because it's spreading the rays of the benediction moon. The Sankirtan movement is the movement that we are a part of. This is why we're here. From the Sankirtan movement, we get all the engagement and the service of Krishna. But we get Krishna in an easily understandable way. We get Krishna in a form of Nam Prabhu. In his form as Nam Prabhu, he has invested all his energies. That's not even hard and fast rules for chanting his name. The only problem is that, unfortunate as I am, we don't really have that much attraction for him. But it's there. So being a part of the Sankirtan movement is our security blanket. If we just engage in the mission of Srila Prabhupada, if we just put off this false conception of self, forget about becoming what I said I was going to be, climbing the ladder. All these things are done according to our illusory, our concocted. There is a way to dovetail. Some things can be used in the service of the Lord. But ultimately, we have to change our consciousness. We have to sit down and have the conversation. Who am I and who am I really trying to be? Am I trying to become a servant at the lotus feet of Krishna? Am I trying to give up this useless lifestyle and take advantage of the benediction of Kali Yuga? Although it's a bad age, some are lining up to try to take birth because the benedictions of Kali Yuga are immense. But that absorption of Krishna that I spoke about here, how could I possibly be a person fixed in consciousness? How could I be have that that type of vyavasadatmika buddhi? How could I be a person moving towards samadhi? I just don't see that's possible. But absorption in Krishna makes all things possible. Knowledge of our relationship, our position, and Gana Vigana, not just knowledge, but knowledge in motion. Realization of that knowledge means that we put in motion what we've come to understand, that we're eternal servants of Krishna. We keep joining the conversation of Krishna and Arjuna and take away as much as we can. And when we leave today, next week we come back. But if we're really good tonight or tomorrow, in the privacy of our home, we revisit the conversation. The conversation is a secret. It's there for devotees. And if you just try to approach it in a humble state of mind, like the holy name, you know, Trinadapi Sunichena Turo Api Suhishnuna Amanena Manadena Kirtanir Sadadadi. One should chant the holy name in a humble state of mind. Now we've got some understanding of our pathetic situation, considering oneself Lord in the shortest street. Tolerance takes some work, more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of pride and forced prestige, ready to offer all respects of others. And in such a state of mind, we can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. I haven't even begun to explain that what we really need is a change of heart. That change of heart can happen for us simply by chanting the holy name without offense. All the miracles that we're looking for, they can take place. Our inability, no problem. Our fallen situation, no problem. Krishna is looking for people like you and I. The false ego is really, really horrendous because the false ego constantly tells us that we're somebody that we're not. It makes us aspire to be someone big, someone special, someone rich, someone famous, beautiful, successful. Our success can't be measured by how much we accumulate in this lifetime, how many things we've accomplished. Our success is measured as, at how much we adhere to the instructions of His divine loving grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Shiksha Guru for everyone, Diksha Guru for many. So, and the mercy of Prabhupada continues on and his disciples and their disciples. So, when I read this verse, being able to become indifferent to good and evil, and to be able to become absorbed in Krishna, there's no way for this to happen for me unless I get the mercy of the holy name, the mercy of, and the mercy of Guru and Krishna, and the mercy of Guru is that we take seriously to the process of Krishna consciousness. So I think that's all I've got to give today. Uh, are there any comments, questions, anything that you want to talk about? Okay, Mother. I don't hear you anymore. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you not
Okay.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so I have a question.
Okay.
So yes, this Krishna conscious is all good, and it's a good to have quality in your daily life, in your wherever you go. But say like I'm in an office situation where only meat was served, and then nobody cared to get a vegetarian sandwich, and all that I had was like an alcoholic drink. So should I just go hungry or just eat the non-veg because that's what they got, or because I want to fit in and nobody cared to take the interests of vegetarian people there, and I don't have non-alcoholic drinks. So what do I do in that situation?
First of all, have you ever eaten dog?
No.
Would you eat dog if that's what they're serving?
No.
I look at non-veg the same way I look at dog. You know, my lips curl and I spit at the thought. It's losing our taste. We don't take it because there's nothing else. We take it because it's part of our habit. It's part of, we don't think it's that big of a deal. But if we knew that the regulated principles that are given are not just morality, but they're principles of freedom. They keep us free. They're principles of knowledge. You know, we don't want to aid and abet in killing and slaughtering animals. We don't want to. We want to be nonviolent. We don't want to kill helpless animals. We want to give protection. Remember, don't just see the outward dress. See the living entity no different than you and I that's stuck in that unfortunate body. Now you're going to have him slaughtered, or you're going to pay some money, or you're going to sit and socialize to eat the meat. Why? So my point is that as we get a clearer understanding, we can't do it anyway because it's against what we believe in. Right? Sometimes we need association. If they're going to have meat and I'm going someplace, I can take a sandwich with me. I can eat some crackers and drink some juice. I can eat it all around the table. You know, take some butter, some bread, and if the bread's got eggs, I forget that too. You know, I'm only interested in what I can take and offer to Krishna. And if you do that, if you make that sacrifice, Krishna will come to you so quickly.
But I'm going to be out of place in that group. Like everyone is
Who
in one.
cares? Who cares? Here's what they do. They get intoxicated. Things we used to do. They have illicit activities. They eat dead animals. They're frivolous. You know, the old lifestyle has to be viewed as what I did. But when we walk into the light and see how foolishly we've acted, we stop. Lord Jesus Christ said the same thing. He said, when I was a child, I behaved as a child. When I became adult, I put all my childish things away. Lord Chaitanya says, go forth and sin no more. He took jug eye and mud eye. They were fallen. So first of all, in the privacy of your home, you sit down. Krishna doesn't ram anything down Arjuna's thought. He says, I am speaking this supreme wisdom for your benefit. Think about it, then do as you wish to do. That's what Krishna says. So we're not here to beat you over the head, although I'd love to. But no, Krishna doesn't do that. Think about it, then act as you wish to act. Thank you, Mother. Any other questions or comments? Drona? Drona?
We're in the. Yes, Prabhu, can you hear me?
Now I can. Yes, yes.
Okay,
I can
good.
hear you.
Sorry. We were in the temple room and we have it playing in the temple room. But if I speak, you'll hear the echo. So I had to step away. Just give me a second.
Oh, okay. I just don't know if there's any questions. They can hear me, right? Yeah. So
They can hear you. There may not be any more
okay.
quick questions. Very, very engaging, very interesting, very
Crazy.
we enjoyed it very much. We got off to a rocky start with the technology, but those things really don't disturb us anymore in COVID because we know that these things could happen at any moment. Thank you for staying with it. And it's a very, very important message tonight. I want to tell the devotees that what we're doing and hearing, the people during COVID that have really made spiritual advancement have taken advantage of a lot of the downtime and a lot of the quality classes that are being given and offered. And if we can make this a practice, those of you that may not be listening every day, try to make a practice of, 20, half hour, come and listen, hear. ISKCON of Philadelphia, we're offering Bhagavatam classes every morning, 7:50 to 8:30. And then if you go on the internet, you see classes everywhere, all around the world, all at different times, given by wonderful devotees. Tune in, because hearing this transcendental knowledge really gives a strengthened intelligence and will give you enthusiasm to approach Krishna and surrender to him. We also invite you in the morning times to chant. Haryashra Prabhu is there Many of the people who are on the call are here, but I want it to be known for everybody. Every morning, starting at 6:30, we chant japa. I've heard some feedback from some people where they do their japa earlier than that. That's good. If you want to start a group that starts earlier, by all means, please do so. We have this Zoom channel. We have it 24/7. So when it's not being used for something Krishna conscious, it's just sitting idle. So if you have a desire to want to start a group of where we come together when we chant or we read together, reach out to me and we'll set something up. Let's not miss the opportunity that's before us, because at some point life's gonna go back to where we're gonna be 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning. We're gonna be rushing out the door to get in our cars or on the train to go to work, and we won't return back again till 6 o'clock at night. And we'll miss that opportunity that we have right now. So anyway, things to think about. Darshan tonight opens up in just a few minutes, in 10 minutes. The DDs are really stunning today, so I hope you get a chance to come and see them. I'm glad you enjoyed the darshan, Hariyash Prabhu. I could hear your comments.
Stunning. You know, Jagannath is just so regal, but Radharani Bihari, they weren't having it today. They just snatched everything. Radharani is the queen of Vrindavan, and Shraddha Bihari, he's dancing, he's dazzling. So it's really, really beautiful. I love seeing them. The colors are really beautiful also, and their garlands are beautiful. The devotees are making them. It's the process of Krishna consciousness is so nice. We just have to learn how to associate with one another so nicely. And the problems that we're experiencing, they will go away. We just have to value the association of one another. So I'm hoping that that can happen. And the last thing I'll say is that if nothing else, if you just find a few devotees and you get together and you read Bhagavad Gita or you read Srimad Bhagavatam, just read it straight through. And eventually you'll begin to taste the sweetness that's there. So it's nice. That's it. I'm done. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. And thank you, Hariyash Prabhu.
Thank you. Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Hariyash Prabhu gives a class every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock on Japa Reform. So if you're interested in hearing more from him, tune in Saturday. Make sure you tune in Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. Okay, we look forward to seeing everyone either throughout the week, next Sunday, or if you stop by the temple.
Oh.
Hariyash, you want to say something?
No.
No? Okay.
I realized I had two things going on. I cut off my machine.
No problem. Okay, everyone, be well. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.